All right. Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it do. If you don't know what to do, hit that like button. Greatly appreciate you. So, put a picture up of the Marvel Civil War, which consisted of Iron Man on one side and Captain America and his crew on the other side. They split up for, when you really look back at it, those of you who follow it, they split up for a very benign reason, a very petty reason. And that was because one side didn't want government oversight, while the other side felt that, okay, maybe we should have some restraints put on us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, me personally, I'm of the mindset where I feel that they were going too far. Like, here you have a person with the American flag as a uniform in other countries wreaking havoc with, terrorist groups there. Like, basically they're uninvited and they're throwing up the flag like, hey, we're Americans, we could go anywhere and just kick the crap out of your bad guys and then drag them back to the US. Like, that's a bad look. You probably want that politically. There's a lot that can happen. You probably want to talk to somebody before you do that. You probably want to talk to some diplomats, some ambassadors before you just go rip shit around everywhere, even if it is for the good. That's on one hand. On the other hand, you got aliens attacking and you don't want to take time out to fill out paperwork. So there is a happy medium, and that is, listen, if the aliens attack, fight back. You don't really need permission or oversight to do what's pretty damn obvious at that point. Just defend yourself, defend the country. You don't have to do that. So there's some things are obvious, other things are not so obvious, but they could have came to a happy medium. But instead, they wound up fighting in an airport. And there wasn't a clear winner, but what happened after that was very interesting because they both were clear losers. They both were separate, and though equal to each other, not equal to their full strength if they were together. And then in the following, Avenger movies, you had Thanos, who came to a world, hit the like button, who came to a world where he's seen a divided group of people. The mightiest heroes were divided into two, and it was that much easier to pick them apart. It was that much easier to attack Wanda, Vision, and Doctor Strange separately and stuff. You could kidnap Doctor Strange because they're separate. It's easy. It was only 4 of them that was part of I think it was like the Dark Order. It's only 4 members of them, and none of them is really more powerful individually than, say, I don't know, Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, or maybe even Vision. They're not really powerful individually. And the strong guy wasn't more powerful than the Hulk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they were divided, and they essentially were being picked off one by one, giving Thanos the time to get his power right and really just, snap half the universe apart. Now, why do I bring that up? I see, hit the like button. I see MOT in the building saying no. I hope you're right. What I see brewing is conflict in the manosphere between SYSBM and non SYSBM brothers in the manosphere. I see it coming, even though it's extremely subtle. And I'm going to explain. Well, let me just explain why. This is what I see, or how I see the manosphere. You have two separate types of manosphere content creators. You have the types who are solo acts, the ones who don't have panels, don't don't have manosphere panels. If they do, they rarely, if ever, have like the same person on repeatedly, or the same group of people on repeatedly. They don't have regulars. They just do their show. They're typically cammed up, and they tend to do very well. These are the Obies. These are the Steph is cold types. These are the mediocre tutorial reviews. These are the lead attorney types. Guys who start off essentially by themselves. They may have dabbled into the manosphere as a collective group, but they essentially start off by themselves, maybe do a few panels here and there, and then their channel just skyrocket. It goes into a whole different stratosphere to where they constantly have 3 or 4 digit people in the chat room. Hit the like button. They're able to soar very, very quickly. And maybe the Lapeef would fall into that category, even though it's more of a group. Yet and still, it's a group of the same people. It's recurring people. They're not like leaving the link open to individuals with their own agendas, right? So you have groups like that. Then you have that particular group, man. Then you have the other ones, which is more what my channel used to be more like, and that is working with a collective of brothers. Working with a collective of brothers, we all have similar content with slight differences, and we all pretty much agree with one fundamental thing, and that is we would much rather see a world without the gynocracy. We don't want to continue to live in a gynocracy, and we study it, examine it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, and I fall into that camp. And really, I didn't plan on it. It's just the format that I followed. I was watching others. I was watching the founding fathers, and that's what they did. So I decided to do it, and I didn't really see the fault in that originally. Hit the like button. But then as time goes by, I noticed that those channels, much like my channel, kind of stay at a fixed level, content creator wise. You have some that reaches like 1 or 200, and that would be considered high. And then you have the ones that hit the 300 to 700 range regular as far as viewers go. And that is, of course, considered higher, but those are fewer and far between. And it most certainly don't compare to like the people who do it the other way, like the Tommy Sotomayor or the Jason Blacks. And as I mentioned before, mediocre tutorial reviews. And now Austin something or other, he's doing well in that. So I was trying to figure out why. Why is this the case? And for one, it's a YouTube algorithm. It's the way it's set up. It's really going to cater more to people who do pre-record videos than people who do live streams like myself. Mainly because pre-record videos you could scan and check it for advertisements beforehand. So you get a pre-record video, they could say, okay, this is good, we can make advertisements for it and we'll make more money, so I'm going to advertise it more to everybody. That's one reason. Shout out to Steph is cold and people who do it that way. But another reason, and this is what's going on right now in the manosphere, I suspect, is that Because it's such a small audience base. Well, two things. It's a small audience base with a very large potential. And rest in peace, when Kevin Samuels was out, he really showed the space how much potential it had. He's doing, he was doing like maybe 27, 30,000 views, live viewers, which is unheard of when you talk about, the 3 to 5 that I was mentioning before, 3 to 500 I was mentioning before, or yeah, 3 to 500 I was mentioning before. It's a whole different strata, which means that at most any given time, if you have 500 people in your chat room, you don't really see the 500 that you have. You see the 29,500 that you don't have. These are people who are looking and willing to watch Manosphere content because they were willing and looking to watch Kevin Samuels content. They're just not watching yours. So when he came, I saw like a change in behavior of the man of the Manosphere, and it wasn't in a good way. I mean, it was a good for the Manosphere, all in all, but it wasn't really good for the men in it. There was a lot of division. There was a lot of quote unquote civil war going on after that for this market share that we now know exists. Everybody was attacking everybody, trying to be that guy, trying to access that extraordinarily large piece of the pie when before everybody else relatively was and likely still is eating crumbs, relatively speaking. So brothers got hyper competitive. And then after he passed, I guess the thinking was, okay, how can I grab this market share that I know is there, that I know exists? Who's going to be the next? Who's going to be the next king? Shout out to G Money, Gerald G Money Wells. I'm definitely going to be the next king. Who's going to be that next dude? So there was that mentality. And it still exists to this day. Everybody wants to be the next king, and it seems like we're cannibalizing ourselves in order to be that next king, which is becoming very problematic. So another reason why we stay stagnant is because we're all pretty much in the same algorithm. When we see somebody raise at a certain rate, like if it was a graph and you see that slope just go upwards, it's like a steep upward slope. Then we start to do what I call passive attacks. Passive aggressive, but generally speaking, passive attacks. What's a passive attack? A passive attack is when people are saying stuff about somebody else's channel to that person's audience. Now, it sounds like just friendly banter, but really what you're doing is you're chipping away at that person on purpose. It's like slight little digs that come out of nowhere. For example, and this isn't something that happens in a manosphere. This is something that really somebody would do if in a different setting. Let's just say the office setting. All right. So MOT obviously has something on his mind. So let me put the link out there. All right. So let's just say it's an office setting, right? And then, somebody just brings up that, okay, so each quarter they evaluate you, determine if you were profitable to the company. If you're in the black, then that means that you made more for the company than the previous quarter. And if you're in the red, then you made less than you did in the previous quarter. So red bad, black good, unlike real life, of course. And then somebody spends a quarter in the red. And then somebody else says, um, somebody comes in and takes a coffee order, right? Somebody says, "How do you like your coffee?" The other person says, "Black." And then somebody just says, "Well, too bad you didn't like last quarter that way." And it's supposed to be a joke, but really it's supposed to highlight the fact that this person had a bad quarter. It's to highlight it to the boss, it's to highlight it to everybody watching. That's because you want to get that next promotion. Now, by itself, it's supposed to be a small thing. Everybody has bad quarters. You can't perpetually be black. It's not really feasible for somebody to constantly do better than they did previously. Eventually, you're going to plateau. If you don't believe me, do one push up a night, and then do 2 push-ups tomorrow, and then 3 the next day, and continue that process. Now, initially you will be able to top what you did the night before. However, you're going to come to a point where whether it's 20 or whether it's 20,000, you're going to come to a point where you can't do more than you did the previous day. But I'm going into a rabbit hole. The point is that neggers, and for the algorithm, I said neggers exist. They exist and they're here to MOT. I put the link in there for you. They exist and they're really here to chip away at the image of competition or perceived competition in an attempt to aggrandize themselves. Now, the ones, once again, the mediocre tutorial reviews, to a lesser extent, in the past, Kevin Samuels, the Steph is Cold. These people, nobody can really talk to their audience because they don't share audiences with anyone. So they don't have that problem. So they're not bound by that problem. They're not bound by that mindset. They don't have that, what's that, ball and chain around their leg. We, on the other hand, do. And that becomes problematic. So, how does this pertain to SYSBM? Well, first, my stance on SYSBM. Never really was a part of SYSBM. And I never was against it. Like, you can look back through my entire archive and never will you see anything that says I'm anti SYSBM. I'm against it. GameChanger has something against SYSBM. It's just one of those things. Same with Passport Bros. Nothing really against it. Listen, here's my stance on the whole thing. As far as it becomes, as it's a relationship between men and women, black men and black women. There are more men seeking pygmies than there are pygmies. By a long shot. By a long shot. There are more men seeking pygmies than there are pygmies. And there's, no matter what, there's going to be an overflow. There's going to be men who, it's kind of like playing musical chairs. However, it's 20 kids and 3 chairs. There's going to be someone who finds alternatives. than to even play the musical chairs or to, sit down at the end. I get that. It's, it's not a big deal, and SYSBM, Passport Bros, what are dudes that simply just don't date black women. They're going to exist in a population like that. That's fine. And then there's going to be the ones who like, something, I'll play the game. And then if I lose, I'll find somewhere else to sit down. There's going to be separate camps in that regard. Don't really mind that. Never really cared. But it bothers me when these camps start doing as I described before. Somebody said, "Are you shadow banned again?" I don't think so. I don't think this is shadow ban. I hope I'm not. I think that the reason why the numbers are low this one is because I didn't give much warning. Like I noticed that it's better when I give it like a day or so to where I do this video, but I only gave this a couple hours before I just hopped on. So it is what it is. This is going to be a short video, and it's really meant for people to see it like later, watch it, record it later. So, shout out to them, but hit the like button nonetheless. So every time, whether it's SBE, whether it's the game wars, every now and again, I notice that the space goes to war with itself for whatever reason, and it just brings everybody down, just like the Avengers, and it makes things easier for the true opposition, which is, the Thanoses of the universe, to come through and run havoc. So we need to call it out. We need to stop it. It's like, hey, why are you doing this? Like, hey, how come you only come up to disagree with the host and not in a friendly way? Like you're disagreeing in bad faith chronically, or you're disagreeing with and somebody said lack of content. I'm going to get into that, but after I talk to MOT, I'm going to get into that. You're doing that just because the war isn't with each other. The war is with the gynocracy, and it's also with the ignorance of the men out there who feed into it, who support it, who aren't really who are of a blue pill mindset to where they support this enterprise, even if it's to their extreme disadvantage. That is what we're actually against. We're here to make others aware. We're not here to fight each other on who gets the right to make others aware. I know. Listen, and I'm gonna say this to them. Bring it. Talk to MOT. Listen, it's a good gig. It is a great gig. Kevin Samuels, what Kevin Samuels have, and what the people who are good enough, and I'm not, I haven't had a super chat yet. It is a good gig for those who can live off of it, especially since we're in a community that supports Passport Bros. It is a great gig, working from home, saying what's on your mind, and then going on with the rest of your day anywhere in the world, Colombia, Brazil, Chile, you could be in South America, you could be in Southeast Asia, you could pretty much do it anywhere. You can do it in the heart of Africa. Like being able to do this and go on with your day is a great gig if you're successful at it. It is. So is being a professional basketball player, a professional football player, or something like that. It does not mean that you have to stoop to attempting to sabotage others in order to get that gig off. We're not going to get anywhere collectively like that. All right. So MOT, you're very vocal in the chat room. So yeah. What's on your mind, brother?
You just did the same thing that you accused everybody else of doing. Like, you have to understand that Passport Bros and SYSBN do not make content about local women all that much. Now, the people, like, I don't think there's a red pill community. I think most red pill people are frauds. If you sell a product about getting past a specific issue, you're not red pill. Red pill is about awareness. Now, when you're purple pill, that's when you want to take red pill information and give it to blue pill men so that way they can become more apt at surrendering and dealing with the things in the actual environment. Like that's why it's like there is no dating coach that's red pill. For instance, it's impossible to be red pill as a dating coach because you have to understand that they have to attack the people who are leaving. They have to. They have to. Because they have to make themselves seem superior for staying in a messed up environment, in a messed up condition. So they're going to have to attack the people who are going. They're going to have to attack the people to make them look like they're not man enough to deal with certain individuals or certain specifically environmentally raised individuals. Like me, my tangible way of destroying the gynocracy is to become more productive and avoid dealing with those women and avoid trying to fix them at all costs. And if any person who wants to be a pick-me, then you better have a system of creating more or bringing more reinforcements to the point where people are not even trying to deal with those other type of people that are there. I mean, it's just that, like you said, it's an inventory problem. You don't fix an inventory problem with behavior. You fix an inventory problem with more inventory. Like if I had bad oil on hand, yeah, I could go out and buy a whole bunch of expensive additives to make that oil proper, or I could just go buy a new brand of oil with a different freshness date on the oil. That's where we're at this point. So like SYSBM and Passport Bros and people who just avoid this altogether, that's a solution, action-based, oriented thing. It is. And it's just that their business model requires the actual making other people look like they're not good enough to deal with a certain specific subsegment of people. So I get it. I understand it. I mean, because I go in with the understanding of why a person would do something versus not do something. But like me, I don't really give a damn if somebody's sitting at home without any substance, not solving the world's problem, especially not ours, and they're making money off of it. Like, I don't care about that. Mm-hmm. I care about substance-based things that's going to help men overall. Somebody's being successful at trying to help women or just being full of shit in general because it, feeds into everybody else's precognitive biases that doesn't really solve any problems for anybody. And everybody's not here to solve a problem. But I'm just saying, just don't call yourself manosphere if you're not here for that. It's kind of like, when people say, oh, I'll make $1 billion to talk about black women because guess what Oprah did? I think that you need to shut the fuck up and stop calling yourself manosphere. Because everybody's just going to point to you, the weakest link. Like the FD signifier piece. He didn't come out to the substantive people. He went out to the people without substance to do that. What he did. And it's very easy because if you are a weak man, if you don't want to operate for tangible solutions, and you want to be a leader of a group of people, you're putting the whole group at risk with your own financial dealings at that point. It's not really that hard to see.
No, I mean, I definitely agree with that. Okay, so here's the thing. Somebody in there saying, pick a side. I don't really see opposite sides. I see the guy.
There is that's another thing.
Right quick.
You are in the middle. Oh, okay, go ahead.
So there is gynocracy, and then there is those who are against it, and that's most of us. Now, MOT, you mentioned that the red pill community, as it pertains to dating coaches. I wasn't really referring to the dating coaches. Those.
No. But you have to understand that's the bleed over when you don't have direct sides. Because like a lot of people want to pass themselves off as red pill when they're definitely purple. And that's the problem. It's that we don't have direct sides here. Like when people are telling you to take a side, they can obviously see that you're in the middle. Okay, I can see that you're in the middle.
The way I see, I see what you mean. Okay, so the way I see that logic being applied is that, for one, you should consider yourself on the same side. And for two, people are labeling others as purple and then saying, okay, that person is purple, therefore that person should be ousted from this particular community. And the community should be my particular brand, my particular shade of red. I see that going on. And that's the passive aggressive or the passive attacks
That's not the passive attack. It's an active attack.
Right quick. That is the passive attack. So let's just say somebody from SYSBM, right? They say something like, "Oh, what are you talking about? You actually sleep with black women? You know, you must be purple. You must be purple. You have delusions of a happy American household. You must be purple." So they put that label on, and I know it is way too many terms. They put that label on the brother just to diminish him in the eyes of his audience in order to aggrandize themselves. Is basic. Then it becomes a question of who is redder, who has the reddest red pill, and whoever has the reddest red pill get to sit at Kevin Samuel's seat or something like that.
That do with red pill even. All right, so let me explain what you're doing here. What you're doing here is by not having standards, you're allowing for the people who want to come in and actually be a disruptive factor within that group to have more rights and actually a degree of silence to everybody else who's also within the group. That's what you're doing. You're laying down that covering fire by saying, don't criticize anyone. Like red pill always meant awareness. It always meant awareness. Blue pill meant refusing to see awareness. That's what it always have meant. So when you say, well, we can't put standards on people when they come through. Yes, that's when the red pill becomes more purple and more purple and more purple to that point because you're adding more blue to something that's red when it don't belong there. It's either it's red or it's blue. Once you start adding or trying to blend audiences together for whatever reason, you're selling purple pill nonsense. That's what it is. It's either, listen, I get people who are staying. I get why they stay. But if you're staying, there's no like there are people who are self-aggrandizing themselves. Game dudes self-aggrandize themselves. Dating coaches self-aggrandize themselves. But see, we don't attack those group of people when they clearly have to throw everybody else under the bus. The actual people who get criticized are the people who criticize the people who actually need the criticism. And so we're setting the mark of criticism somewhere near a point that it don't need to be. It's like, okay, if you sell a product about escorting people back into these bad circumstances with no tangible and clear solutions, after the Me Too, never moderated your message. After the Johnny Depp situation with the Amber Heard thing, never moderated your message. After the actual Dr. Dre divorce thing, never moderated the message. Seeing Steph Curry and his wife still wanting attention from specific types of men, even though she's married, never moderated the message. So if all these superstars who make millions of dollars a year are going through these things, how is it that specific subsets of people who want to be considered red pill have the answer to these things? And it looks like your protection is for those people and not for people like me who point out the distinctions between that. Because I don't think all black men are equal. I don't think we even need to be in the same group. And I think that people without criminal records who actually engage in this shit is far more dangerous than people who do. Because if you tie your financial output based on stirring up and trying to leverage people onto a problem that you know isn't going to work, that's straight up evil. That's bad and it's wrong. It doesn't matter how you package it. That's just what it is.
So AM1 says something interesting. He said, actively trying to seek the perfect American woman is definitely a blue pill move. Okay. That is where we differ.
I don't think that was my point.
No, I know. I'm just going to touch on that for a second. And that's, well, it does kind of speak to your point, because what's going on is, you know, the line between purple and red is unclear, and you're basically just saying just cut at any sign of purple. Listen, I don't see anything wrong with in your net, and I know your feelings, AM1, but in your net, in your attempt to find the woman or women for you, you include Americans. I don't really see a problem with that, but I do understand if there are those that do. Like, I do understand that there are going to be people who simply don't want to mess with American women, and there are going to be people who simply don't want to mess with Black women. I get that. I'm not going to say that because a person is willing to embrace a particular type of Black woman that that they are blue or purple, because it's really an understanding of the culture that is creating and encouraging Black women to be a certain way that makes a person red pill. It's that particular understanding, not the conclusion that that all of them are like that, or far too many of them are like that. That's something that's an individual thing. So Jackie Jack, thanks for the super sticker. And somebody asked for the Cash App is GameChanger 00100. That's the Cash App. That's the cash tag, so to speak. So listen, I mean, while we're fighting for who's red enough, which I think that it's a futile endeavor. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's not a futile endeavor.
Right click multi. Call out a turncoat immediately. Like, you see somebody on some, and I am notorious for that. I do pick my battles. However, I am more discerning in my friend or foe recognition. And my battles are for the good of the information. It's for the good of the red pill. When I went off on Obsidian and I made it clear that I'm cutting ties from him, that's for the good of the manosphere. It had nothing to do with my own financial gain or my own subscribership or anything like that. Hit the like button. Had nothing to do with what, with Obsidian? Maybe like a month ago.
Yeah. Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, so at the time I was shadow banned and you probably didn't get it, but no, I made it clear that because he was moving into a blue pill situation, his channel was not only becoming blue pill, he was catering to the gynocracy, and he privately admitted that it was for financial gain. Then I decided to cut ties with him altogether. So I get that.
But he openly said that he's here for money. Like, he said that more than a couple of times. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I mean, he said that very openly, that he wants to talk about women until he makes $1 million, bajillion bucks, because Oprah did. Like, he's been quite open about that. It's just that the people who watch him doesn't really care whether that is or is not the case. They still want to watch him because he is entertaining, and he is. But it's just that.
Well, I beg to differ, but I will say this. Obsidian, I didn't have a problem with the person making money while spreading red pill truths. Just like I don't have a person with anybody who's a professor or instructor or something like that. Whether it's a martial arts instructor, whether if you wanted to teach trucking to people who are new to the industry, I don't really and make money while doing it. I don't really have a problem with that. However, what Obsidian has done was he switched his subject matter. And that was for the sake of what he believed to be a money-making venture. He felt that if he made if he had a message that really preached for the women instead of for calling out the women, then he would make more money. Maybe, maybe not. However, I'm not really here for the money, though I appreciate those who do. I'm not really here for the money, so and nor am I going to sell out Black men for the possibility of wealth to come. It's not really my style, so I cut ties with them. And
okay, so let me interject right here. So you understand the difference when it's Obsidian, but you don't understand the difference when it's purple pill men. Like there's a clear disconnect here. So you have a line, and what you don't like about Obsidian, I don't like about the purple pill dudes. It's exactly the same. It's no different, by the way. It's exactly what it is.
Do this. Name names.
Anybody who's a dating coach. Anyone. The whole field is trash. It doesn't matter whether it's AMS all the way down to the bottom. Mm-hmm. I make no distinction, period. Because at the end of the day, you are trying to entice people to give them information to go rescue people I don't want rescued. It's not a good idea to deal with people who had a bad cultural, just go find new equipment to deal with. Because at the end of the day, you become their protector when you go in there with this so-called game, even though there's no actual person who's won the game on a one-to-one basis, or even a 500-to-1 basis. Because most people who claim they have game, they're on the market like everyone else. So that's why I draw one of those clear distinctions about not believing someone. Now, there are far more legitimate people than people who are not. I hate to say this. Like, you don't see Alan Roger Curry going around throwing dudes who travel under the bus. Even though I disagree with his premise, even though I do think The Beta Male Revolution is the best book that's ever been produced by the Manosphere, that's a distinction between him versus somebody or any other dating coach. Let's say Cario, Angry Man can't seem to be on one side or another. You turn on his live stream, one thing he says, another thing. Steve Dean, that's a good example about how they have to address their actual audience to make other people look like they're less than because they don't want to practice game. I'm like, you only need game for uncultured women, period. So the moment you walk into the manipulation phase, you're trying to act your way past our actual cultural distinctions, and I don't think that's a good idea. So that's why I called it fraud at the time. So that's my distinction between having information go into an environment that's pre-prepared for you, because men actually work together. This is not one of those environments. This is an environment where men help women work together, and those are the things that happen on the outset. So that's what I mean by distinction, clear distinctions.
Okay. The people that you mentioned primarily, I've had issue with each of them individually. I wouldn't even consider. Okay, I think you're talking about something different. When I talk about the war, I'm talking about the war between people who are SYSBM, passport bros, and people who aren't game dudes or aren't dating coaches, but they don't really operate under the flag of SYSBM or passport bros.
But you're drawing the line at the improper place.
Say that again.
Yeah. But you're drawing the line at the improper place. That's not. Like,
no, I'm not MOT. What's going on is that there's two separate things. Right now, with this, with the introduction of August August H, with the introduction of him, the passport bros have been under fire by various different factions, and they have been firing back successfully.
Yes, because we have a tangible solution, by the way.
Yeah, for whatever reason, and I agree, it is a good solution. So they've been firing back at in all different directions, but these are overt attacks. The passive attacks that I'm referring to seem to come my way and Bernard's way and stuff like that.
Yeah, Bernard deserves all the criticism he gets. Every single bit of criticism.
Okay. Well, let's start there. Let me read this super chat, and then you explain to me why he deserves any particular amount of criticism. Okay, so it says, GC. At one point, I was old man's #1 supporter, but his habitual flip-flopping, I think that's what you mean, flip-flopping / toxicity caused me to separate. Bernard Riley show much better without him. GC thoughts? Yeah, absolutely. So my thoughts on Obsidian with as far as his relationship on Bernard Riley's show. And it's a good thing that you bring that up before MOT talks about what Bernard Riley feels Bernard Riley is doing wrong. But what Obsidian seemed like he was doing was Obsidian has a talent for starting a fire and then putting it out. He would say something completely outlandish for a shock effect on Bernard's show, and then he would scurry to his show while he clean it up, and then get the views like, wait a minute, Obsidian said what? And then you're like, oh, I gotta go to his show later on to see him explain that. And then he goes to his show to explain it, and that's how he got a lot of views. So and he kind of just like left Bernard's show as that place where outlandish ass shit is being said. So that's my view on Bernard's show. You're right. It wasn't really working for Bernard. So, good on him for seeing that. It was definitely holding him back. I think I have one more, and then and then we'll explain what you have against his show. All right. Keep staying loyal to the cause. Yeah, greatly appreciate it. And not lose sight of what the cause. The way I look at it, and I'm not including the dating coaches in this, is that we all want to see the gynocracy end or at.
Wait a minute. How come you're not including the dating coaches? They don't want to see the gynocracy end.
That's why I said
the gynocracy.
No, I said excluding. Did I say including by mistake? No, I meant excluding. If I said including by mistake, I meant excluding the dating coaches. We want to see the gynocracy end. That's it. That's all. We want to see the gynocracy end. That's something that Bernard and I share. That's something that SYSBM and Passport Bros share. That is a shared goal of each of us, and that is something that needs to be focused on, not petty differences between the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6 camps. So, what's your issue with his show?
Well, it's quite obvious that he's in the middle, collectively leveraging the ignorance of black men and black women to make it look like he's doing something that he isn't. You haven't picked a side.
In the middle.
You can't sit. Okay, in the middle. What side are you on? Are you here for the gynocracy to end? Because if you did, you would be doing relationship talk. Relationship talk caters to the gynocracy. Period. She's the product. She's the product being put on a pedestal. Because if you didn't want to deal with her, you would just simply deal with different inventory. That ain't her. Now, this whole bullshit about the conservative men, he's leveraging the collective ignorance of people who think they're conservative. You're not conservative if your market, if you sell lace fronts to these women that you complain about, then you're on the side of the women, and you have to cater to them. That's just what it is. He has a show that's about the dating and relationship piece. He doesn't want to separate from it. He's codependent upon it. His show is very repetitive, entertaining at times. I don't watch it anymore because I have something to do during those time periods. But yeah, so you have to realize that there's a lot of people getting in this cushy middle where they don't have to pick a side. And when you don't pick a side, you become very popular if you don't pick a side. But not doing that is a bullshit move. It's directly standing in the middle, trying to feed both sides of this argument. During the war, the first thing they do is they stop suppliers from supplying one side or another. They make you pick a side. They truly make you pick a side. And you can't claim to be a conservative, but your whole everything is about liberal women. If you're a conservative, then everything you do is about conservative women.
Okay.
I'm a conservative, and everything I do is for conservative women. Liberal women don't even exist to me. The gynocracy don't even exist to me. You know what? If I can't use them for writing grants or political connections, I don't even deal with these women at all. But at the end of the day, people claim to be manosphere and on men's side, but you're feeding a group of people that don't need to be fed, and you're in this cushy middle trying to act like you're doing something that you're definitely not. And you're trying to hide behind this veneer of popularity to make it seem like you're doing something that clearly isn't happening. I know you're friends with this guy, but that's what's happening. There is no clear side, no clear distinction here. For the same reasons why you don't like Obsidian, you shouldn't like Bernard Riley for the same exact reason.
That is not the same exact reason. Okay, so I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to give it to Bernard. You have his show wrong because you see. Okay, you said a lot. The first impression is that he teaches relationships. I've never, and I'm on his show regularly. I've never known him to actually teach relationships. I never seen Bernard teach men how to get women or etc.
That's not my point. That's not what I said.
You said he teach relationships. What the hell
is that? I said he caters, not teaches. Caters to the cushy middle of that. That's what I'm saying.
What's the cushy middle? Like whether it's foreign or domestic.
We have to go into what the definition of is. We know what it's show Bernard Riley does.
Well, right quick. Whether it's foreign or domestic, men are going to seek relationships, whether it's with a black woman or not. But Bernard isn't promoting any of that. He's promoting awareness to you haven't watched this show in a while. Now, that I'm gonna say that, and then I'm gonna say this, and then Bernard. Well, right quick. I'm gonna say that, then I'm gonna say this, then it's off to Bernard. Also, MOT, you my dude, and you've been my dude for a while. But notice how I stepped back when you was on the political shit. Democrat, Republican. It's not.
Yeah, I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to make sure. And let me tell you why you step back from it. Let me tell you why you step back from it.
That is a whole separate level of division. That is not.
It's not a separate level of division. It's not. Okay. It's not. Listen, I will explain why you step back.
Here's how I pegged this. Here's how I pegged you when you and Nate and other people was going at that, because that's a fruitless. Battle.
Nate's a fraud. He can't even debate by himself. He needs to protect the wall to talk.
Right quick, come on. This is how I pegged you when you was doing that. I was like, okay, you're a Southerner and you see the race aspect of the Republican Party, and other brothers see it as benefiting. That the Democratic Party benefits the women over everything. They see welfare and everything like that. It is a very subtle and petty difference. Don't have a dog in the fight. I just let that shit go because it's not entirely.
Why do you live in California?
Issue.
But why do you live in California and not Montana?
Well, they're beautiful women and great jobs.
Yes, because of liberal policies, not conservative policies. You know why you live in California.
It has great jobs.
All that great infrastructure and everything else. Come on, dude.
What are you talking about, MOT?
I'm talking about exactly what's the difference between the parties.
MOT, I'm in tech. Silicon Valley is the tech capital of the world. What the fuck?
What I'm saying is, it's because of liberal policy, not because of conservative policy. Okay, you don't understand the difference between the two parties.
No, because I don't care that much. I don't care that much.
I know. That's why you don't care about the issues of politics, because you don't care that much.
Alone.
That's fine.
And Bernard let this shit alone, but you dragging him into some bullshit that don't. All right. Bernard,
I'm not dragging him into anything. I'm just saying that.
All right, Bernard.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So let me.
Let Bernard have it. You said your piece.
No. Let me talk. So here's the thing. Bernard Riley is collectively leveraging the ignorance of black men when it comes to politics. He's leveraging the shit out of that. He know he is. He protects Little Big Nate. He does shows with the hood conservative for some reason, a mentally retarded person. Like you provide a collective bulwark for those people. You don't even discuss political policies. You don't even do it. We have so much going on with the conservative movement right now. Bernard Riley has not discussed any of that. You want to know why? Because he has to keep these people hopped up.
All right.
It is related.
Okay.
It is related. So if I'm not going to be able to talk about my disagreements, then what's going on here? So here's the deal. Bernard Riley. Here's the deal. Bernard Riley. Here's the deal.
Let him answer the question.
Here's the thing. Obviously, this is something that we need to do somewhere else, because what I want to talk about is very specific. I don't need to be interrupted every 5 seconds whenever I'm talking, because I don't disagree with Bernard Riley, but he is doing something that's very specific and dangerous to the manosphere that he has never been called out for. Okay. Having all these conservative lunatics on his channel that he don't allow to be actually challenged in any specific way has grown these group of people. So now I have to rise to the point to where we have to burn this particular conservative black man who is with this liberal woman the hell out of existence. If you're going to stay here with this woman, if you have a platform that is about this liberal woman, you cannot call yourself a conservative. There is no such thing as a cultural conservative that don't vote and that don't talk about policies, that don't talk about anything that happens. Okay? So now, if you want to come on, if you want to talk about specifically that, I can talk about that. But what I'm not going to have is interruptions and all this stuff. This is your friend. He is not my friend. So I don't have to take up for him. I point out the actual criticism of what's going on. All
right.
No, he is. He is. So what I'm saying is, so that's what I'm saying. So if you want to have a one-on-one to talk to me about the specific political policies that you have not talked about on your show, we will do that. But if we're not going to do that, then I'm out of here.
No.
That's exactly what it's going to be.
Okay.
We're gonna speak directly to what I'm talking about. About collective. Okay, so if we're not gonna have a discussion on what I disagree with, you're just trying to move me into a direction that I don't want to be. So I'm not gonna be part of a conversation that you want me to have.
I gotta mute you because you.
All right. You have a nice. Thank you.
All right. So
Holy
now
shit.
he's gone. All right. So what's your response to that? That was a lot. What was your response?
Yeah, I was hoping he could stay. So, like, okay, the thing that I wanted to talk about is the part where he's basically, and you was trying to correct him on it. I should have just jumped in when he was saying that did he say my show was about catering to women? Because 90% of what I do on my show is call out the bullshit and which essentially is raising awareness for the men. My 92%, 93% male audience. Raising their awareness, red pill awareness, that's raising their awareness about the bullshit that women are doing so they can move accordingly and move appropriately. And the way that they can move appropriately or accordingly, one of those reasons is, MOT's reason, get a passport. One of them, SYSBM passport, or if you're just keeping it casual and not, signing any legally binding documents into that system. But then I do believe, and I do know firsthand, there's a small percentage of them that are work wittable. But I'm not trying to sell the idea that, hey, that 5% out there, that's you can make that work. Like he almost put me in the same category as the dating coaches, where most of what I do is call out the same bullshit that he agreed that is bullshit. Like, so the same stuff that he agreed that is bullshit. My show is the majority about calling out that bullshit. So I don't know how I end up a part of the problem. To people to say I don't take a side, how and where am I not taking a side? What am I floating around in the middle on? You can, I don't that part I never understand. That part I literally never understand. As far as conservatives not being challenged on my show, they literally got challenged today. Some guy, I forgot his name was. Escape the echo chamber, AC Star, who's a little unhinged and crazy, and Deanie, who's a regular on my channel who has a wrench. They came up and they challenged Lil Big Nate and I forgot who else was on the more Lil Big Nate and Nick Taylor. So yes, they do get challenged. Yes, they do get challenged. And yes, my views, I politically lean more conservative than liberal. I'm not some leader of the conservative party. My show is not strictly about conservative politics, but I do like to talk about conservatism and liberalism from a cultural standpoint. I embrace the term culture warrior. We're in the manosphere because we all agree that something is fucked up about the culture, and we're trying to inspire, influence men and change their minds and how they operate to essentially stir the pot of the culture. So we can move, so men can move and operate different. Now, how in there do he say that I'm catering or in some way to this liberal woman? I'm not saying go wife up baby mamas. That ain't me. I can show you videos of me arguing niggas down who say that. I'm not saying alpha your way through it. I can show you videos of me refuting the bad arguments of niggas who said alpha your way through it. So this whole shit about me not taking a position, that's bullshit. That's bullshit across the board. I don't know where people got that from. I take a position so strong. Everybody know that. Look, I came in this thing through Obsidian. When Obsidian shit, I mean, it went far for a while, but I didn't cut ties with somebody who I used to look up to because I take a position that damn strong.
I do too, yeah.
Like so you can't go there with me about I don't take a position. There's plenty of people who I didn't exercise that block button because I don't sit in the middle. When they start doing all this, calling out, SBE or whatever that shit is, I saw that as some bullshit. And I drew a hard line that I don't fuck with that. And I operated accordingly and stopped fucking with people accordingly and even blocked people accordingly. So how am I not taking a position? I draw a hard line on my show. So no, that's bullshit. Now my show was sort of like a neutral ground where all ideas can come and you can present your idea. But part of the show is, you're going to face the firing squad if you say some bullshit. So people come up, I do a one-on-one with somebody, I give them some pushback, but if they say some bullshit, all right, link in the chat, The firing squad about to come up and challenge your views. And sometimes I do moderate the discussions. But when I'm in the discussion, which I do insert myself into it the majority of the time, I draw a hard line and I take a position. I take an absolute position. So I know that's bullshit to try to say that I don't take a position on something. Oh, as far as what he said about selling lace fronts, yes, I think black men should own all the businesses in the community, all them damn hair stores, liquor stores, every fucking thing. So yeah, I essentially damn near had a hair store. I don't now, it's essentially sold at this point, but yeah, I think we should take over the block. Yeah, I do.
So you actually said that, and he was interpreting something you said before, like we should own all this stuff that black people buy, and he interpreted it as, we are profiteering from the gynocracy, and therefore we don't want to see it to end.
Nah, that's bullshit.
I'm gonna be honest. This was left field. It's in line with what I originally made this video for, and that is to talk about this brewing, because obviously there was tension that was unbeknownst to us, because it's so settled, it's so, that there was tension between you and MOT that we didn't even know existed.
I heard that there was a tension, but I mean, I put it like this. Only thing I know is that people would tell me that he was saying some things about me. I think the fallout was mostly because he seriously don't like the conservatives in this space, and I'm cool with them and I agree with them, and I do think a lot of the liberal when we look at how black women act, how they conduct themselves, how they behave, and everything that's wrong with them, I can't intellectually justify voting with them. Like I can't. And that's how I started leaning more conservative. Now MOT do got some good points about policy, and that came up on my show. It's AC Star brought that up on my show today. What conservative policies has helped black people? Little Big Nate gave somewhat of an answer, but I don't think it was all the way a satisfying answer, because that's the catch-22 that we in, is that the Republican Party don't really, they kind of ignore black people, so we in a catch-22. We can even
we can either vote. You have to choose between being a man or being black.
We can either vote with the gynocracy, or we can vote for a party that at least presents itself as being more patriarchal. But even while doing that, we standing next to some racist people. But or we can go vote and stand next to the goddamn baby mamas and shit. So I mean, so either way it go, we in a rock and a hard place as black men when it comes time to vote.
Agree.
So that's where I'm at with that.
And people pick their side for various different reasons, whether it's geographical. Like if you grow up in the South, of course, the race issue is going to be closer to home. If you grow up in California, it's then the gynocracy issue is going to be closer to home. I get it, but this is politics, and what we discuss in this particular space properly, especially on your channel, is more of a sociological issue, not a political one. So even though those two have a strong overlap, don't get me wrong, but it's not politics. There's a reason why you don't bring up politics on, say, like a first date or something like that, religion and politics. There's a reason for that, and that's because it's extraordinarily divisive, as we've seen today. Because what I gathered, and MOT when he left, and I think he fired up his own show, but MOT when he left, what he was saying was, you're protecting your friend, and the thing is, and MOT may or may not be listening right now, but you're my friend too, like, and that. So what the hell? But
I mean, that was ridiculous, because me and him could have talked. He kept saying something about being
such a touchy subject. Like, politics is such a touchy subject that it really brings out division amongst people, even within families. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't have to be that way, because that is something that that's something that really your audience members, the people that you let up, like Little Big Nate, like Hood Conservatives, and like MOT used to be, that's something that they believe strongly in. But it's not really, that's not what this fight is. You know, I feel that black male Democrat and Republicans should be against the gynocracy. And in a very real way, they are. But it really don't matter who's more against them or something like that. That's not the fight. That's the thing. And that's why I brought this up. That's what a civil war is. What you and MOT just went through is a civil war. You're not a dating coach. You know, you're saying that it's between a dating coaches. No, it's subtle tensions like that that's unnecessary. That does not meet the overall objective.
Yeah, you and him, y'all were kind of. I was going to come up earlier before I even was mentioned. Y'all were talking past each other because he kept bringing up the dating coaches, even though the problem that he got with the dating coaches, you have that same exact problem with them. Mm-hmm. Like you. So y'all were in agreement with that, and you were talking about something else, and he kept bringing that up. The people that he named, the Steve the Deans, the Lucarios, they don't call themselves Manosphere. They don't call themselves Red Pill. They happen to be in the Manosphere algorithm, and they make a lot of their titles and a lot of the stuff they talk about is really a counter to a lot of the stuff that a lot of people in the Manosphere claim themselves to be Red Pill say. So like they're in the algorithm, but they will blatantly tell you we're not in. You know, they will blatantly tell you we don't fuck with y'all. And I came to realize that, and even though I used to like Lucario going back, and I don't got no, I mean, I don't like their put it like this. I'm not going to disrespect the man personally. I don't like aspects of their content strategy, and that's why I just I'm not fooling with them, because I can see what they're doing, and shoot, and this is where MOT is right, because a lot of the dating coaches do make arguments where it really sound kind of pro woman and feminist, where they gotta sell to the men that they can get the women, that they can help them get some women, and so anything that the man say is wrong with the woman, the dating coach then have to say, no, ain't nothing wrong with that woman, it's you, and let me show you how to not be, let me show you how to be better so you could be right for that woman, because ain't nothing wrong with her, it's you. It's like they play that game and then come off as antithetical to what we got going on and what we be talking about. So they on two different pages. It's a completely different camp over there. And so y'all were kind of talking past each other when he kept bringing them up, because that's not exactly what you was talking about. You was talking more so about people with small, subtle disagreements, and they make mountains out of the molehill over a small disagreement. Basically, people who agree with each other on 95% of everything, they will come and try to argue and fight over that 5%. I think that's more or less what you was talking about.
Exactly. So you get that. And see, here's the thing. The key in the title is the word civil. It's not a civil war if I was to go after a particular dating coach. And I have several times. The whole game war I was at the forefront of that with MOT. That's what the whole game war was that, and that's not a civil war, because I don't consider them as part of the same nation, as part of the same culture, as part of the same thing, because they're not against the gynocracy. Therefore, they were never actually with us. If I were to, go after, as I did in the past, Steve the Dean or Lucario or something like that, that's not a civil war. That's me going, just like when I go after the gynocracy, that's not a civil war. These are outsiders. These are foreign entities. What you and MOT have is a civil war. And that's more of what I'm talking about,
Yeah. And let me address something that Nagone is saying. I think Nagone said BGS came on my panel and tore it down or something. Well, no, this is a more recent one right here, where he said he spoke on some basic facts about politics, and you folks just don't study, you don't read, and you have no real idea of history and respect to facts. And look, when BGS speaks, I tend to listen and try to learn something from BGS. So I don't even look at BGS as like, I don't look at BGS as some enemy combatant. Like, I was glad when he came up and he said a lot of things that, I mean, I went and did some research when I got done talking to him. So no, BGS is all right with me. And hey, if I say things he disagree with and he want to give me some correction on it, I'm my mind is wide open. Whenever I hear BGS, I'm interested in trying to learn something. So I'm not even on that like I'm against the BGS. Like that's so yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
And that's my point. Because there's always subtle differences. Fantastic is back. Salute to him. He likes him bigger than I like him. That's a subtle difference. We get along. Hell, I think, don't you like him bigger than I like him? But we get along. I mean, there's always going to be subtle differences. It's not really something that
wait. I see what's going on now. Gabe A is saying the brain trust contingent have been circulating that BGS versus Bernard clip. They count that as a win for their side. Shaking my head. That wasn't a BGS versus Bernard. That was a, oh shit, BGS haven't been on my show in a year and a half. Let me drop everybody down from the panel and give him an interview and ask him questions. Like I didn't, no, that wasn't a BGS versus Bernard. That was a Bernard interviewing BGS. Like, come on.
Wait, when did this happen?
No, BGS, this was a few weeks ago. Yeah, BGS, like me, Ed, and a few other people was talking about one of BGS's videos, and then so BGS came up to clarify, and then Ed had dropped down. He was like, "Hey, well, you don't get to talk to BGS that much. Let me drop down and let y'all talk." And then I was like, "Yeah." So I had like a 40-minute interview with BGS. I didn't think of it as a versus. It wasn't a knockdown, drag out debate. I was interviewing him. I thought it was cool.
It probably was cool. But you see, yeah. That's my point about these civil wars. That was, and shame on BBT. That was a shameless instigation of something. If I'm reading the situation properly, you shamelessly instigated a war that didn't exist, shamelessly causing division between brothers that wasn't there. To what end? What end? I mean, we all have a shared goal. We have a shared goal, and that is to end the gynocracy, or at least prepare men to reasonably defend themselves against it. That is all of our shared goal. That is, I have my I have my differences with BGS, but at the end of the day, I make no effort. In tearing BGS down. I don't, just like he's not giving subtle disses on his show about me or anything. Listen, it's not necessary. It's really not. It's not necessary to have all of these little side wars, And quite frankly, as I mentioned before, I think that it's really just the way that it's marketed. We're a very small part of YouTube, and a lot of people are competing for very scarce resources in this particular space. We was talking privately about how big the video game sector is, for very basic stuff that you wouldn't think that, would sell. I just, there's a show that I watched that has like thousands of viewers where they talk about Game of Thrones while watching Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Like that always brings like, at least 3,000 plus. So relative to all the makeup tutorials, I see, like Kelly Stamps, my crush, I see how big other channels are relative to us. And I could get why that's bringing out the competitive instinct. Not saying that that's going on with, that's what's going on with you and MOT. But I see what that's bringing out the competitive instinct in people. But it's like, listen, I think we're losing sight of the goal. I knew it. I sensed it because we talked about this earlier, Bernard. I sensed it. I was like, listen, there's something in the air. There's a lot of unnecessary divisions going on within the manosphere. Not between people like Steve the Dean who are outsiders. People who are within the manosphere have unnecessary rivalries that don't benefit the overall goal. That whole exchange did not benefit the overall goal.
Yeah, agree 100%. Yeah, yeah. I see it through and through. I see a bunch of petty stuff. I see a bunch of people who agree with each other, fighting over nothing. And for some people, that's a content strategy. That's the messed up part about it. For some people, that is full-blown content strategy. I could find a wedge issue, and I I could find a molehill and I could run on that. I could be a single issue content creator. Let me just drive this home. Let me drive this wedge. And so yeah, people doing that. Yeah, it really don't make sense. I look at it as, part of the reason that the manosphere was created as a counterpunch, as I understand it, a counterpunch to, all the stuff that not just what women do, the stuff they say, the narrative they put out there, because all the stuff that get put out there, men hear that and men get inceptioned with those ideas. We were the counterpunch, the pushback that was giving men better ideas, more man-centered ideas, and that's what we were here for. That's what we were doing, and I think anybody who's doing that, who's fighting that fight, I think they're in. And I do, and one thing what MOT was saying, there are some people who will muddy the waters to the point to where it's like, nah, we can't do this no more. And I like I said, I had to make some decisions and stop dealing with certain people and cut people off as a result of that, because I mean, some people went beyond muddy waters. I mean, a full blown switch, but that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, so yeah, as far as man, I wish you would have stayed up. That's what I'll just say that. I wish you would have stayed up, because it's it's some things that he said about my I'm lost. I'm still trying to figure out this. I don't pick a side, or I don't like you would think I go my whole show without giving my opinion on anything. Like that, that's how people talking. I'm just so neutral. I never disagree with nobody.
Well, okay.
I think my stock in trade. Hold on, real quick. Yeah. I think part of my stock in trade is picking apart the bullshit in people's argument when they make an argument against the general things that the manosphere stand for. I think that's part of my stock in trade when people watch me for, because they know I'm going to give an objective, logical breakdown of it. Like, that's pretty much what I got going for myself. I tend to be logical, and I tend to do a good job arguing my point. Like, I don't know how you can do that and also be neutral and don't give an opinion. Like, I don't understand how people are saying that.
I do.
Well, go ahead.
So your tone and your demeanor is neutral. So take me, for example, and that's not a bad thing. That's your meal ticket. Take me, for example, somebody say something I don't like in the chat room, in the thing, and you know what I do. I go into my, my epic rants, and just completely just go berserk on something that I disagree with. Now you do disagree, but you do it in such a calm way that people don't even see that it's a disagreement. Your style is more like, well, I have to say that the reason that this doesn't make sense is because this, and this. So you did disagree, but you did it in a very calm and cool way, where I'm like, that is some bullshit. How in the hell are you gonna say some stupid ass shit like that? Was your mother and father, brother and sister? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why you keep like, that's my style. So my disagreement is very, very clear. Yours is very, very subtle. And so it comes off as neutral, but you do make it clear that you did disagree with what was just said.
Yeah, I don't think it's that subtle, but I mean, I don't call nobody a bitch ass nigga after I make my point, but I don't think where I stand is subtle. I think it's clear where I stand. Yeah. It just it ain't like some people think you're neutral if you don't, in this space, if you don't respond like you riding on that nigga, then you ain't then they view you as a neutral or in the middle or not taking a side. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. Especially MOT, I could see him saying that because he is passionate. And I think that your dispassionate response, even though it's poignant, may be missed by him because of the lack of passion. So I see that, but and this is somebody who's friends with both of you. He has it all wrong about you. Now, what he does have right is the subtle purpling niggas. There do exist people who come in red, get a little bit purple and a little bit purple and a little bit purple, and then next thing you know, they just full on some MAGA shit. There is the existence of that. And that is not who I'm talking about in this civil war. That is groups of people that both MOT and I had private conversations about, and you and I had private conversations about. And you can, I'll admit it. Like I told you, like, listen, I've been monitoring this dude. He seems like he's on some, infiltrate shit. He seems like he is attempting to build up an audience out of your audience for something completely different. He is a covert agent of the gynocracy. I seen that. It's like a light-skinned dude sneaking into a black frat. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. It's funny because we be on constant watch for shit like that. Because
y'all don't know that Bernard and I talk about this behind the scene. We do not want that shit. We do not want to support a nigga like that.
Yeah, because when I put the link in the chat, sometimes you never know who's going to come up, especially if it's a show with a few hundred, 400, 500 people in there. Anybody who come up, and then you'll get some dudes who will be on that. Yeah, I see what y'all saying. I agree with y'all, and blah blah blah, and this or that. Then they'll just try to slip in a little gynocratic bullshit. Just try to smuggle it in, float it out, see if we bite on it, and then then that'll get smacked down, and they're like, okay, I agree, and then he'll come back later. Do the same little dance. Yeah, I mean, I feel what y'all saying. Yeah. And then we'll gradually try to float in some more bullshit. And then eventually, when I start seeing people like that and they start creating channels, because they done panel hopped and they done got a little name for themselves, and I'm like, okay, this one of them dudes who he don't fuck with what we saying, but he just trying to be hopping panel to panel and then trying to start his channel, but his channel is really gonna be against what we talking about. So it like people like that, like me and you talk all the time about people like that, and once we figure out what the hell they are, I tend to block their ass. Block their ass, so I don't end up being a part of the problem that helps somebody who's gynocratic being in this space. Now there's a lot of people who let that kind of shit float around like crazy, but that for damn sure ain't me. So when he was basically lumping me in like that, and I'm constantly on watch for the shit. Me and you are trading notes on the people that we can see trying to do the infiltration. Like we got a lot of people like that. It's people who I did one-on-ones with, and because they was manosphere, they was red pill all the way through until I finally fucked around and did a one-on-one with them. JB in the building. I was about to call you today. I was literally about to call you today. I ain't talked to you in a minute. I was about to call you today. I call you when I get off of here. No, it was people. Well, yeah. Well, let me just not miss this point because I'll forget. But it's people that used to have been in this space, made some content that looked like red pill manosphere content, and I do like to help brothers out and bring them on up. So there's plenty of people that was like, hey man, come on my show. I mean, I just saw one of your videos. It ain't had that many views, but hell, that shit was interesting. Come on my show. We'll shine a light on that particular video, that particular topic. Send some subscribers over to your shit. I've done that for people, done one-on-ones with them, and then later on, they sure as hell just switched up, like damn near instantly, just switched up, and I was like, oh, this dude is one of them undercover dudes faking red pill because you see an audience here, and let me try to get in good with the audience and then smuggle in my bullshit to them once I get them subscribed. Like, dude, it's been countless people. It's people I done had on my show that I had to block their ass because of that shit. I had to block their ass because of that shit. Like, I done that plenty of times. But all right, go ahead.
No, you got it. You got to go for it.
Oh no, I'm good. That's what I had to say. I'm passing you so you can get to the.
No, it's to you. I'm talking about the super chat.
Oh, oh shit. Okay, I thought you was gonna read. Okay, Bernard, you have an incredible ability to acknowledge nuance and be nuanced yourself, which can be perceived as strongly biased by a less intelligent, by the less intelligent. That's what makes you dope. It's not your fault, brother. Hey, I appreciate that, JB. I appreciate that.
Yeah, salute. Appreciate you, JB. So, yeah, I wouldn't say by the less intelligent. I think this may be an instance of perception is not meeting reality. I think that MOT's perception of you is not the reality of the situation. And once again, your dispassion is kind of lost. It's overlooked by a passionate person like what he is. That's the way I see this situation, but it is one of the unnecessary divisions, like these civil war battles that we should not be having.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And, we, like I said, we talk and we determine the ones that do. And sometimes people are going to slip through the net. That is the risk that we run. And I was talking about people who grow outside of running that risk, the mediocre tutorial reviews, Steph is Cold, people like that, Poor Man's Podcast, people like that who grow because they don't share their audience with people who may later become opposition and work and, become antagonistic to your message. They're able to grow without major challenge. Even if somebody was to, even if I was to sit on the sideline right now and talk crap about mediocre tutorial and reviews, my audience is largely not his audience. So it's hit the like button, people. So it's not really going to affect him. It's not going to affect his bottom line. So there is that, but you run that risk, and you receive rewards because you receive interesting conversations. You meet interesting people such as myself in doing so. And, there's pluses and minuses, and you weighed that and you did that. But I mean, there are safeguards in place. That's what I'm getting at. There are safeguards in place against that particular type of individuals. But that still wasn't what I was talking about to MOT. What I was talking about more wasn't between, outsiders or even chameleons or pretenders. These are people who genuinely still feel the message of red pill. They want to end the gynocracy in their own way, and we want to end the gynocracy in any way as long as it ends. And I'm noticing tension in between those two particular camps as well.
Yeah, agreed 100%. And yeah, that's been brewing. I mean, look, I see I see it a lot on my show, because my show has always been like a place where everybody where everybody gather, and and I like it that way, people of all views. But it do end up just turning into the people fighting over inches.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, so somebody right here says passport bro here. Okay, that's good. You're a passport bro. I'm a bro with a passport. There is really no reason that we can't get along. And I'm not saying that you and I don't, Burger and Fries. I'm not saying that you and I don't. But there really isn't a reason why a passport bro or a bro with a passport can't get along, or a bro without a passport can't get along, because we all agree that the dating, mating, relating market is not good here. Now, what you're doing in response to that is becoming a passport bro. It's cause and effect. What Bernard and I do is we discuss the cause. It's cause of this behavior. She's behaving like this, and the effect is passport bros are going to exist, and SYSBM guys are going to exist because the situation is like this. They work hand in hand. And some dudes want to turn those hands into a fist and like, oh no, if you ain't passport bros, you ain't. Just like, whoa, wait a minute. A guy here who met the woman of his dreams in 18 and fell in love, and they've been married the last 20 years or so, he can still see that there's a problem, though that problem probably didn't affect him the same way individually. He does understand what he has is not commonplace. So he don't really travel because he has a family and it doesn't allow him to do that. Like, that doesn't mean he don't understand why you travel, and you should also understand why he isn't. Like, that's how it is. Like, it really shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be about that. I date who I want to. This shit. Okay. I date who I want to too. It's just that Rihanna keeps saying no. Like, everybody, you date who you want to that wants to date you. That is what we do. We date who we want to that wants to date you back.
Yeah.
That's
maybe women can say they date who they want to. Maybe
women have a much greater dating pool than men. Unmistakable, especially if you're attractive. Women, and I think this chick here, I think she's like a quarter Ethiopian, so that works to her favor. But women date, they have like a much greater dating pool. But men date who they want to too, as long as she wants to date them back, and women fuck who they want to as well. Many women, if they want to fuck Michael B. Jordan tomorrow, they need only his address and some lingerie.
Well, when they say I date who I want, that's really just them saying I fuck who I want. So yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. That's how I look at it. Because to some degree they can't necessarily the guys that they could actually date versus the guys that they could actually date is a lot, but the guys who they can have sex with is almost infinite. So that's how I interpret that when they say I date who I want.
Well, okay, I would like to, and this is one of the things that I can agree with Passport Bros and SYSBM on and stuff like that. I would like for that to be not so true for the not attractive women. I don't like that attractive women can say the same as unattractive women. I can fuck anybody I want. I would prefer that we lived in a society where there's certain dicks out there that is off limits to the average at best. But unfortunately, there are a lot of dudes, especially during a drought, that will take the average at best. I would like for there to be a clear line. I would like for there to be a clear line, Bernard, saying, you shall not pass. I want it to be like Gandalf. You shall not pass. I would like to have that on my dick. There's no line. There's no line. When was the last time a unworthy bitch asked for your dick, Bernard?
Oh, I plead the fifth.
Okay, you plead the fifth.
I was reading the chat and then I came back to the conversation with you just saying, when's the last time an unworthy chick asked for your dick? And then I was like, ooh, I think I'm missing some context here. I'm not 100%. I'm just gonna plead the fifth. I'm just gonna plead the fifth.
Well, I'm not gonna plead the fifth. You want to know when that happened to me? Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Juneteenth.
This year?
Yeah, this year. Juneteenth celebration. I was like, bitch, you know you unworthy. You know you are unworthy of my dick. How dare you come at me with the audacity? And she was fat and she was white. And so she feels that because she's white in a Juneteenth, celebration or something, I'm supposed to give you my dick because you're a descendant of Abe Lincoln who emancipated us. Get the fuck out of here. How dare you have the audacity to, see, it's an insult. It is a freaking insult. It is an insult when they do that crap. It's kind of like walking into a Tesla dealership or a Ferrari dealership and say, listen, I got $80. What do you got for me? You get the hell out my store. It's an insult, Bernard. It's an insult. And you want to know why they do this, Bernard? Because they are used to fucking out of their league. Because you guys in the chat room are constantly giving away dick to unworthy women. You know when women are ridiculously beneath you and you do it just because you want some pussy. And I'm not talking about her intelligence is beneath you. I'm talking about her physical appearance. I'm talking about her physical appearance. Her physical appearance. That is the bulk of a woman's worth. Her physical appearance is beneath you and you fuck her anyway. She says, why do they do that? The answer to every question, listen to me good, ladies. Any question you have that begins with why do men, because in this case, they means men, why do men do that? The answer is always to get more pussy. Why do men dress to get more pussy? Why do men do to get more pussy? Why do men the answer is always to get more pussy. Stop saying why do men? The answer is always the same.
We're right there where she's saying, yeah, I know it was yesterday. I think she's referring to when you said, when was the last time an unworthy woman asked for your dick? She says, yeah, I know it was yesterday.
No,
Yeah, but see, she think it's funny. It's even funny to me that she think it's yesterday, because the fact of the matter, like, women don't just be walking up asking for it. Even so it's like it's still a rare moment. It's still a rare moment. That's why I had to really think, and I can't remember. I mean, GC got it down all the way. He know the exact date and time. He must have been really traumatized. But
no, well, I know because of what I was doing. I was at a Juneteenth celebration, so it was the context that gave me the date. Like, I remember because I was at a Juneteenth celebration. It was a white chick, and it was like she feels that it's Juneteenth, and I don't know what was going on, but the whole context stuck with me. That's how I remember the date.
Yeah, I think unworthy women get enough dick offers to where they don't have to go around and just start offering up pussy. That's where we at in the market. That's where we at in the market. That even undesirable women. I said it on my show just recently. There's a lot of undesirable women out there, but even though they're undesirable, they still meet the threshold of fuckable.
Exactly.
They're still fuckable to most men. So yeah, women don't go around asking for nothing. So that's part of the reason why I was thrown off by your question. So I can't even remember.
Well, the line of fuckable is lower than dateable, which is lower than marriageable. It is. The line of fuckable is very, very, very low for men. Now, it's always supposed to be lower than the line for marriage and the line for dateable and stuff like that. Like, there's always going to be that chick, like I'll fuck you, but you can only come at night through the back door. And I don't want you to leave the car to come to my house because I don't want the neighbors to see your ugly ass. I'm actually going to open the garage door when I hear your car come up. And then, you come into the garage, I close the garage, then you exit your car, then you come into the house, and then I put the paper bag on your face, cut a hole out of it, and go to town. That is what you do with, there are those, they meet the bare minimum. That's where everything about your eyes say no, but your dick say yes. Like, there exist those types. I'm saying that we give the bar for even that is too low. The bar for that is too damn low. We as brothers, damn it. We got to do better in that regard. And that's why I'm for the passport bros. Y'all are some bros that said, listen, I will sooner just go. I'll sooner just go before I have to do before I do some crap like that. So you get no pushback from me. You get no shame from me. That's what I'm saying. There should not be a civil war. I have no problems with what y'all doing, and y'all shouldn't have any problems with what we're doing because we ain't doing shit. That's against that. All right. So JB, appreciate you again, brother. It says GC. Why do you give that Manosphere troll Sugar Bomb a wrench? I don't know. So I went because I seen him trolling today. I went a couple of days ago and I started giving people wrenches, and I could have did it by mistake. Who knows? Or maybe I seen a series of comments that was normal. And I was like, oh, this is a normal person. But now I remember who the fuck it is. Like, so I don't know. It won't last long. But yeah, it's stuff like that. Literally, all that account does is troll. Yeah, sure, that's a good idea. Yeah, so yeah, that's what that's about. Yeah, I think that was just a mistake. But yeah, what was he talking about? There's things that we agree on. Lines of fuckability, you know, are fat women actual women? You know, like stuff like that. Do fat women have faces? There's always going to be things that we disagree on. It does not mean that we should have like a whole civil war about it. But once again, it's scarce. It's scarce.
Right. Right. And it's worth making a distinction. Like there are some things you'll go to war about. Like if dudes start talking about lowering their standards, or you know, you will go to war on that. Like that's a major issue for you.
Agreed.
And I think the main point that you're making here in this stream, as I understand it, is the people who go to war, you know, over shit that we all basically agree on. Like for example, because you got passport bros, in the title, and I see this on my channel all the time, where like, for example, me and you, we agree 100% on all the reasons why somebody would be a passport bro. I mean, you don't claim passport bro, but you are a bro with a passport, like you said. Like we agree 100%, but we do talk about all the problems and the BS and the bullshit in the black community, and with how a lot of modern women or black women or this or that or blah blah blah, how they operate, how they doing. We pick apart the bullshit, call out the bullshit, blah blah blah. So inevitably somebody comes in, see, y'all just trying to save Boom Quisha. Y'all just can't let go of Boom Quisha, but I got a passport. It's like shit like that. That's where it just get turned into just goofy, just bullshit. Where it's like,
I agree.
That's how I interpret it. That's where I gather that when I look at the title is a civil war brewing, and I think it's at the early stages. I mean, actually, I understand exactly what you're saying. I think this this video could be, or this stream could be potentially premature, because like it's at the early stages of that, where I see it a lot on my channel, because my channel is like the place where everybody congregates. So I see it a lot on my channel and in my chat rooms, but I don't even think other people are seeing it as much as I don't think people are seeing it as much as we see it. So
we see it, and I see it because I've been through it. I had so many like passive aggressive attacks that turn into like ridiculous shit with people I was cool with, so many times that I'm starting to see it coming. I'm like, listen, it's fruitless. It's fruitless on both sides. Just let the shit go. This is not a battle or a war that's worth having. It's not. It's a fruitless enterprise. All right, let me get rid of that wrench. Yeah. All right, so on the screen, right? Should women lower their standards and guys raise their standards, and maybe then we can move towards improvement? Absolutely. Absolutely. You see, here's the thing. Women are doing something, particularly black women, are doing something that particularly black men aren't doing. Hey, just because I take a wrench away, don't start messing with people. Don't start deleting and come on, just
oh damn, she got timed out immediately.
Yeah, exactly. But don't do that. Come on now. But anyway, but see, black women, and this is largely black men's fault. Black women wait it out. They wait for a better deal. And our black men are so sexually impatient that we don't wait for a better deal at all. At all. We like, oh no, I gotta get some pussy now. It's been 4 hours. It's been 4 hours since I had some pussy, and here's a foe that wants some dick. So fuck it. Like, so that is how they develop this advantage. And that's how they develop lower standards. And also, there's a level, Shida, there's a level of stupidity involved. There's a level of stupidity involved in the fact that there's a belief that they don't understand the different bars. Like, listen, just because you're good enough to bed, that does not mean that you're good enough to wed. And just because you're good enough for head, that doesn't mean you're good enough for bed. Hey, Bernard, do any women fall into that category for you?
What category is that?
Good enough for head, but not good enough for bed.
Previously at one point, but not right now. No, I don't do that now. If something's so wrong with them to where we can't have sex, I don't even want them sucking my dick. So, so that's where I'm at now. But I wasn't always there. So yes, that was a such thing at one point. I was, had a low standard at one point. Taking all comers. Pussy is pussy. But no,
or coming on takers. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I went like maybe a year and a half period post divorce where anybody could get it. it was all systems a go. I didn't care. I was just happy to be getting some new pussy. But after a while, after about a year or two, I developed a standard. So yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. I did have that category where I knew that she only qualified for one hole. She only qualified for the mouth hole. I did not want to look at her. I didn't want to give her the benefit of pleasure. I wanted her to not like it. And I'm thinking about somebody in particular to where I was going down that path, and it is very hard because Mutt said that she would cry if that happened, and I understand why. But I tried to be subtle. So I tried to finish and then claim impotence afterwards. That was my goal. I was going to finish then and be like, okay, well, I'm out. I'm about to go to sleep and I'm about to go. So yeah, that's it. That was my plan. But what I noticed about the chicks who are on the border of being that unhot, what I noticed about that is they know exactly when you're about to finish. They know. They have mastered the art. They know. Which means that they have swallowed so much jizz that they know exactly when it's coming, and they know to stop right before it happens. It's trickery. It's trickery. They be like, okay, it's my turn. Ain't that a bitch? They wait till you get right to the precipice. Right to the precipice. They know exactly when the mountain is about to erupt, and then that's when they start saying shit like, "Oh no, it's my turn." So ever since then, I'm like, I'm not even gonna do it because then it's just gonna be like this big tease, and they're gonna set you up to try to get your dick. Nope, not having it. And they don't care, and they don't care. Bernard, they don't care. Chicks like that, they do not care. You could use the I don't have a condom excuse. They don't care. I had one of them say, I got a sandwich bag. She said, I got a sandwich bag.
What?
Yeah, this chick was disgusting. She was disgusting. I didn't even get head from her. It was a blind date. It wasn't a blind date. I met her on Black Planet, but she didn't have like even a fake pic. She didn't even have a fake pic. She just had a description of herself, and she said in her description, she didn't mention her weight, but what she did mention was that she is a vegetarian and she only eat fish. Bernard, I went to this bitch's house with the movie when Hollywood Video was a thing. Bought a Hollywood Video movie. Went to her house, and you remember she said she only eat fish. This bitch eats shark. She eats shark. She eat it by the pound. Like what the? I was like, dang, what the hell is going wrong? You know, she didn't exactly lie to me, but you insinuate that a chick who's something like a vegetarian only did that, right? But nope. So then she tried to seduce during the whole movie. I'm gonna be polite. I'll give you a Netflix and not chill if I'm not attracted to you. I was gonna get like, okay, I'll give you that, and then and then I'll just be like, oh, I would, but I don't have no condom, and then scurry out of there. But I said that, and the bitch said I got a sandwich bag. I was like, what the hell? What in the
so did you use the sandwich bag?
hell? No.
Okay.
No, Bernard.
No, that was the only important part.
I do not want to see the brain damaged kid that come out because I'm a nigga that used a sandwich bag and they seep through it. I don't even want to see a kid that come limping out of a vagina because you used a sandwich bag for a condom. What kind of no? Hell no. Listen. Magnums latex all the time, except when the chicks lie and say that they're allergic. Then you spend the extra $3 for a condom and use that polypurine stuff. That is it. That is all I use. Because people see, that's why people be having all of these imbecile kids. Because I was at the Dollar Tree. I go to the Dollar Tree to buy soap and paper towels and shit. I was at the Dollar Tree, and they had condoms there. How fucked up are you that you are buying a Dollar Tree condom?
That's a risky proposition.
And what did you?
Was it like Dollar Tree brand or would it?
Yeah, it was Dollar Tree. No, it wasn't like Trojan makes a 3-pack that they sell at the Dollar Tree. No, I get that because you do get regular stuff. Like you get the regular name brand soap and shit from Dollar Tree. So I can see why you say that. Nope, this wasn't it. This was some off-brand crap that they sold for $1. I think it was like $6 for $1.
Oh no, I ain't going. I ain't going.
You raising a whole kid now. Whoever buying them condoms, they raising a whole kid now saying, hey, at least I saved. At least I saved on the cost of a condom. You stupid. I seen that. I was cracking up. I probably got a picture of it. I seen that. I was cracking up. Like, who in the hell does something like that?
Hey, News said Dollar Tree condoms are made out of the same box they came in.
Yeah, that somebody said I seen 3 for $1. Don't buy it. You see 3 condoms for $1, do not buy it. That is not made out of latex. That is made out of something else. That is made out of recycled Legos. Do not use. I shouldn't even have to tell people this. I should not have to tell grown people don't use Dollar Tree condoms. But in case you was like, ooh, that's a good price, don't do it. Pablo, what's on your mind?
So somebody called for a passport, bro. I'm here.
Okay.
And so the title is there a civil war between passport bros and the red pillars?
Yeah. Yeah. So Pablo,
go ahead.
You got it, bro.
No, I'm listening. Go ahead. So, I want to hear your take as to why you chose this title and what thoughts came to your mind. To arrive there.
Lately, I've been.
I would be a main protagonist of said. Split.
Okay, then hey, let's air the grievances then. So remember that scene from Belly where DMX was like, for real, I'm feeling a lot of heat coming off that motherfucking couch. Feeling a lot of heat coming off of from that motherfucking couch. I've been feeling a lot of heat coming from the passport bros and the SYSBM dudes lately. I've been feeling a lot of heat. I've been feeling like a lot of like slight digs, like this is the only way, and if you ain't sporting passports, you ain't sporting shit type thing. It's like, so I've been feeling that shit coming from the camps. I'd say maybe like 6 weeks now. I'm like, listen, it's not that serious. We all on the same side, So am I tripping or is there a there? Be honest.
Well, there is a there, and I'm gonna give it with a caveat though. However, do we generally agree on a bunch of shit that goes on in the subculture that is the community? Yes, absolutely we do. We have more areas of agreement than disagreement.
Okay. I can feel
I
that.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's the however. However, um, the Blue Book gentlemen feel as though there is still some undercurrent of, I want to say, Keisha. Hold on, Bernard, before you.
I'm chilling.
Speak your
I'm
mind.
chilling.
Speak your mind.
Just the other day on your show, you said, no, we're not trying to save Keisha. Boop de boop de boop. And then about 20 minutes later, you said, but yeah, we would like to change the culture. It would be nice if we could change the culture.
Yeah, but Pablo, you would like to see the culture change too. You would like the culture of black men to change to where they're not confined to the community and they open exercise more of their options, get passports, and make better decisions in who they're operating and dealing with. So you yourself is also trying to stir the pot of the same culture,
Okay,
right?
so was that the culture change you meant to you were enunciating, or was it something else?
That is one that I'm okay with.
Okay,
That
I
is
know
that is
you're
one
okay.
that is one that I'm definitely okay with. That's not on the. I don't put that on the marquee. I mean, after all, I mean, I don't even have a passport. I would be
Mhm.
disingenuous and fake to be repping it like that. So
No,
I mean,
but
so
but
so
you've been
so
generally supportive. You've been supportive. I can't say
exactly,
you haven't
exactly.
been. Yeah.
Yes, I've definitely been supportive. So that's why I'm with Game Changer when he's saying we're on the same team.
Right. And I
So
think a bit of it is this. In the past 6 weeks, since the passport bros have gotten the types of exposure and the types of heat that they have not had before, I think it's kind of been like a gangland drive-by where they just jumped out of the 6-4 and just sprayed everybody that was in the way. If
you
that
saying the
makes sense.
passport bros jumped out of the 6-4 and started spraying?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Spraying rhetoric.
And I mentioned that. And I could feel that. I was mentioning that a moment ago that, August Holler, his name Holleran, right?
Austin. Mm-hmm.
Austin, what's the last name?
Hollerman.
Hollerman, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he came out and people wanted to put out that fire, so to speak, real quick, and y'all got a lot of heat. But and y'all did come shooting back. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
brother, I'm on your side. I'm not a passport bro, but I'm a bro with a passport.
Right.
So that's what. So okay, I knew I wasn't tripping. I knew that there was an area. I'm like, wait a minute. We've been
Now
getting
you're
a
not
lot of.
tripping. You're not tripping. There's some of that, and
Well,
both
I
of you
appreciate
guys
your
are my
honesty. I do.
both of you guys are among my favorite content creators. I spend a lot of time fucking with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I see it. I understand it, and heck, I won't lie. I jumped out of the 6-4 with a Uzi a time or two myself.
Man, Pablo, I was trying not to say it. I was trying not to say it, but you was about to make me say it because, like, yeah, when you was like, yeah, they jumped out of the 6-4. I'm like, no, nigga, you jumped out of the 6-4 on
Yeah.
me and shout
Yeah.
at me.
Yes, I have, Bernard. My apologies for the friendly fire. But yeah, it is a response to exposure that we probably have not enjoyed or had before. It's kind of like uh, when a ball player comes out of nowhere and all of a sudden he get the big, it's kind of like giving Kyrie Irving the $80 million contract. He wasn't used to it. And then you gave him all the money, and now it's flat Earth. It's he's eccentric. That's what I compare it to. Now, eventually, we'll get used to the exposure and the flames and arrows and calm the fuck down. But yeah, For a minute here, we've been tripping. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, that's fair enough. I'm glad the whole purpose of this was to,
gain understanding.
Yeah. It's of the stream was to get this out in the open. So, I'm glad that we got it out in the open. It's like, yeah, we cool because we all have the same agenda, because brothers traveling is going to change your perspective and it's going to force change on the woman's perspective, like
I agree.
So it's no matter what the end game is the same, and it's just different avenues that it takes different strokes to win a war.
Well, we need to ease up on the people that are in our corner. That's what I gather. We need to not keep allies. Don't make enemies out of allies. I feel you.
Yeah. Hey, I couldn't ask for a better stream, on that.
Bernard is Switzerland. He's Switzerland over there.
See,
lob Molotov cocktail. I lobbed the Molotov cocktail today.
Oh, what happened today? I didn't watch the stream today.
Oh yeah. You hopped up on the panel you hopped up on the panel, threw a Molotov cocktail and left. Yeah. That shit was funny.
It's kind of like, how when remember, Bernard, we were talking about how people would throw SYSBM in the chat and throw up the planes and shit, and then the content creator would get feel away after a while.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like eventually, like, you just let all the bombs fly. Just let them fly, and then see where they hit. But in any case, yes, there's a there game changer. There it is.
Now that's what it's funny. I told GameChanger, I told him that this stream is probably coming a little too early. I see what he's talking about, but I was like, I don't know if most people really see what you're talking about. But I'm glad you did acknowledge that there is a there, and I would like to see it.
Well, I know this. Maybe this is a good way to head it off at the pass. I know I will, going forward, I will refrain from lobbing my Molotov cocktails.
Yeah.
In certain.
I mean, y'all know who y'all true enemies are, and the people who are enemies of y'all, they're also enemies of me too. They don't mess with me, and they don't mess with GameChanger either. So I mean, that's why I'm like, yeah, we on the same side.
Exactly.
Yeah. No doubt about that. No doubt about that.
So Fatty says something interesting. This dude. He says, men will support other men until ego is involved, until money and ego is involved. Okay. It depends. It depends on if that man's ultimate purpose is money and ego. See, take not Spartacus. Take the movie 300. You had a hunchback. Now, his initial thing was honor and glory. When that didn't seem feasible, it wasn't possible for him due to, reasons that he had no control over. His only recourse was money and power, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's all that's left at that point. But people like that don't deserve to be a part of a brotherhood. See, that's why it became civil at that point. It's an infight thing. It's treacherous. It's all those things. And that's why I had to, a couple of months ago, cut somebody loose, because it's like, listen, I cannot have a hunchback nigga, in my midst. I can't. They can fuck up everything that you're trying to build. So, and then there's some people like you, Fatty, that just fight for the sake of fighting. That's just disagreeable because you think this shit is cool. Listen, I understand more than anybody that conflict streams, that beef streams, or what have you, it brings the subscribers. I get it. It's not about numbers to me. I would much rather, 100 people hit the like button. I'd rather 100 people hear the message than 200 people, fucking me and Bernard can make, and me and Bernard made up a beef, like next week, and went at it on both of our shows, y'all would be watching like Nas and Jay-Z. Y'all would just be like at the shit, like, you know, oh shit, what Damon Dash and Jay-Z talking about right now? Like y'all would just be like chomping at the bit and shit. It's not about that. It's about a message. It's about either taking down the gynocracy or preparing the brothers to reasonably defend themselves against it. That is it. That's what I'm about.
And I think where I may have erred is not realizing that, quote unquote, the Blue Book gentlemen, Bud Bros, are a tool in that toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Bernard is a tool in the toolbox. GameChanger and his scrolls are a tool in the toolbox. Mm-hmm. So we have multiple tools to get the job done, right? Like at one point, yeah, you might need a hammer and a saw. At another point, you might need a drill and and some caulk or some shit, right? But ultimately, if you get something done, the tools did their job. It doesn't matter which tool is, more important or did this or did that. At the end of the day, the goal is to get yourself to the promised land, to your desired goal, to build whatever it is that you wanted to build. So
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And if you try to one man build, that's why you have those people in huts, literal shit huts, because they try to use one man to build his own stuff, and that's all you're left with at that point. You're left with a hut. You're left with the hut that built because they couldn't get together. One man make the nails, the other man hammers the nails, the one man make the hammer, and it takes all, not just the carpenters, it takes everybody to build a house, including the electricians and the HVAC people. Without that, you try to one man or try to do stuff one way, you a hut dude, you a shit hut dude, So
shit hut.
It's made out of shit.
I thought it was called a mud hut.
No, that's not mud. That's not mud. Apparently, they figured out that shit is better for
Are
building
you
huts.
telling me they make their huts out of actual human shit?
No, it's not human.
Cow
dung. It's not a cow shit and shit.
Okay, so they animal shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, that make it better.
So their house. Do the inside? Never mind.
Cow dung. When it dries, it doesn't smell. It does.
Yeah, when it dries.
Thank you. That's what I needed to know. That's what I needed to know. I'm just wondering, they just sitting there smelling shit all day. All right, cool. All right, carry on.
No, I think they just let it sit in the sun till the smell go away, and then they go. I don't know.
I mean, it's fucking hot in Africa. Did this shit ever really dry? I mean,
well, I mean, it's there, and then the whatchamacallit, the Amazon. Just basically wherever hut people live, it's almost always made out of shit.
Yeah, I never knew that. I thought
I seen a special. I seen a special. I was looking at the titty tribe bitches, right? And I was thinking like, wow, these chicks really just walk around with their titties out, covering their ankles. They was covering their ankles while their titties was out. And this is on YouTube. On YouTube, it's okay to show your titties as long as it's cultural, right? But they don't show their ankles because that's erogenous to them. So it's very different to me. And what happened was it was two white dudes that was doing the interview, one cameraman and one person just talking about the tribe and shit. And the men went off to go hunt and cut up some goats and shit, while the women stood behind and they were like rebuilding the hut. And he pointed to a pile of shit, and that's what they were putting on the hut. They were mending the hut with shit. And they also like use incense to freshen themselves up. So yeah, from time to time I watch shit like that, and that's how I learned that it's made out of shit. It's like, oh damn, hey, live and learn, I guess. Like,
Hey, I had an incident today with one of the sisterhood, and I captured it on video. It happened to me in the gym. I was doing some burpees, and maybe y'all can tell me if this was on purpose or maybe she just did this shit on accident. May I share?
Yeah, go for it. You're muted. Oh, he coming back. All right.
He's trying to actually share a video.
Oh yeah. All right. Hold on.
Oh, okay. I see. They do use cow poop. Gas.
Yeah, here it comes. Hold on, let me.
When I dated a chick from Africa, I referred to it as a mud hut, and she never corrected me. She just let it ride. She let it ride. She didn't want to let me know that they was that her. Well, she didn't live like that, but she had people that lived in what she called the village. Okay, here we go.
So I'm doing my burpees with the kettlebell, and here comes, and she knocks my phone down and says, "I'm so sorry."
Okay, wait a minute. Here, play it again.
Yeah, I'm playing it again. Start my recording with my burpees.
Okay. Kind of weird, but it does seem.
Was she choosing on a nigga or just trying to fuck
Well, they
me
do that in the gym.
around with me?
They do try to find ways to get your attention.
Uh-huh.
But it does seem like she held her phone in her left hand, and she hit it with her right hand.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like she was just not paying attention because she's on her phone bumping into shit. It didn't seem like that, even though she tried to make it seem like that. No, it looks like she used her whole hand and knocked the shit down and then said, "I'm sorry."
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, let me ask this. Were the free weights there?
So,
and if so, were they woman-sized free weights? Because if she was there on the 65-pound free weight, she was definitely trying to get your attention.
So it was a rack of kettlebells. However, the only way I could get a clear shot of myself was for it to be a mostly empty rack of kettlebells. So there was a vast amount of space between my phone and the nearest kettlebell. So there were no kettlebells. The nearest one is the one I picked up and put in my hand and started doing my burpees. So it wasn't like there was a kettlebell nearby for her to grab and accidentally knock over. No, my phone was the only object on the top rack of the kettlebell rack.
Yeah, I say it was on purpose.
Yeah, so she's knocking over shit. Now, was she worthy of the penis? I can't see her face or anything like that. Her body was, but she's working on it.
She was facially challenged. She wasn't my flavor. I wasn't feeling it. At the time, I was just trying to get my workout in. Huh?
No, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
No, she wasn't on Pablo's radar.
Okay, so because I asked Bernard when was the last time an unworthy chick tried something, and he don't remember. But for you, it was yesterday. Because then it does seem like that was her trying to get your attention and strike up, a friendly banter, like, oh, I'm sorry I knocked over your phone. So you like kettlebells too, huh? That's because women aren't as aggressive as men, but they hope that if you look at them long enough, you'll try to fuck them.
Right.
So that was her. Yeah. She's either just like an extremely strange person. an extremely clumsy person, but the most likely conclusion, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room, the most likely conclusion is she wanted some dick. She wanted some Pablo dick.
I would definitely say that it was on purpose. The one chick that I ever messed with that from the gym, because I actually think it's hard to even initiate conversation. Everybody got earbuds in, like you got to damn near be rude and interrupt them and get them to unplug. They take their shit out their ear. It's kind of weird. So I mean, so the only way that happened is because hold on. The only way that it happened is because she didn't do something like that. But she like kind of like stumbled into my space and didn't bump into me, but said excuse me as if she did, or said I'm sorry or something, like she did bump into me, but she was like 2 feet away. Her little fake stumble was off by by like 2 or 3 feet, and so she just wanted to initiate the conversation. So I took it from there. So that's typically how it is. Like women are good at avoiding men. So if they especially at the gym, if they initiate any contact or any interaction, if they cause it, then they more than likely was bare minimum interested. So yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. Are the attention chicks in the gym annoying? And I'm not talking about the ones who aren't worthy. I'm talking about the ones who are worthy. I'm talking about the ones hair down to the ass, and they just walk around with it flowing, no ponytail or nothing. Like, listen, I know you hear,
and they do the ab machine with their legs going in and out because they want to.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, I know you're here for attention. I know your hair would get caught into a machine if you was actually here, on some real shit. I know you here, looking at the fellas and hoping to be looked at by the fellas. Like I'm on the free weights way over here. You go and get the 5-pounders and then walk over here. Come on now. Like we know what you're doing, and it's a distraction because it's a place of focus. It's like a library or something. It's a place where brothers would rather be focused. And truth be told, I don't know if there's a proper approach in the gym.
No, it many times can be awkward because you might have somebody on a treadmill. They're huffing and puffing. They can barely talk, much less have a conversation. Yeah, but it manages to happen somehow, some way.
Well, if they bump into your phone and that's to strike up a conversation.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to figure out was that on purpose or not. I didn't want to be so presumptuous. But
it was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would definitely say it was.
Yeah, it seemed. Yeah, that seemed.
She wasn't ugly, but I mean, she wasn't. She wasn't grabbing my attention either.
She wasn't gym hot. Well, she had to force attention out of you. She knows where she lies. She's like, listen, I can't grab his attention, but if I get his attention, then maybe there's a chance.
That's something. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless he's SYSBM or Passport Bros. Then it's too late. It's too late.
It's too damn late.
All right. JB says Pablo forgot to mention he was screaming SYSBM before he started recording.
Wouldn't it be weird? I just had a funny thought for like a skit. Like what if people like did the shit that they do online, like in real life, like you're having a conversation and a nigga just go SYSBM and start doing the airplane and shit.
That's how people be acting in the chat room, man. That's yeah.
You go to the grocery store and you're ordering something and you just like B1 nigga and then
yeah. Just announce it when they walk in the room and shit.
Right. Now, you know what I would do? I would go to the, like when I'm at a checkout counter somewhere and they're pushing a button, I say, make sure you hit that like button. Like,
make sure you hit the like button on the way out.
Yeah. Make sure you hit that like button before I'm finished buying my groceries.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 16 said, I thought you were married, Pablo. What does it matter? Well, we still want to know.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Well, I'll let Pablo. I'm not married, so.
Well, I'm still a man, homie. I didn't lose my penis. I didn't stop not liking hot chicks to want me. That ain't stopped.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I'm not married, but I've been in relationships, and that don't really change. Like, you know, like shit. I mean, women will admit the same thing. It's just shit's flattering. You know, it's just like, you know, hey, you know, that's something interesting. And then we just want to know women behavior. Like, we want to study the behavior.
I was at the gym minding my business.
Mm-hmm.
No, nigga, Pablo out there. God.
Yeah, but thanks for the super chat, number 16. But yeah, this went on a lot longer than I expected, but it's good because it's a good build. I knew it was something there. I'm like, okay, let me flesh this shit out before you know, shots fired, and then we start firing back, and you know, next thing you know, it is a civil war, and then we and it turns out that the shots was just fired because it was machine gun fire and shit, and it's like, you know, hey, we was just busting on everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stop the who riding on in the 6-4.
That's funny.
All right, that's what's up. All right, so Pablo, last words.
Nah, man, just chilling. Glad to be up here with you guys, chopping it up. What's interesting was I was actually listening to a Manosphere channel. I think I was either listening to Big Truck or Hood Conservative when she like knocked my phone over on my headphones. I had my earpieces in.
Okay.
So
yeah, she went straight for it too. She just came at a diagonal, like, okay, let me just bump this nigga phone and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Soft girl era, sorry. And then that's that. Like, you know, that's what she was hoping for. And that's how I met your mother. You know, like type shit. Uneducated Lame said, good stream. Yeah, appreciate you. But Bernard, your last words?
No, I don't got any last words. You know, I came up for, well, you know what prompted me to come up, but yeah, I just came up for that to address that. But
well,
yeah,
I'm gonna give him a call after this because I want to get to the bottom of that, because I think that there's like I think that there's several misunderstandings going on there. So I'm definitely giving him a call after this.
Okay, cool. But
my bad, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't got nothing else. I'm all set, man. Good show, good stream.
Okay, appreciate it. All right, well, with that, I want to thank the Cash Apps and Super Chats, managers and moderators, those who listen silently, and those who participate in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. It's GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.